light up the world. We light up the world.
Dear Diary, what do you do when you've lost your religion? This is really funny because I'm confessing to you right now. I'm reaching out to you right now because I am the daughter of a preacher, 2 preachers, and my brother's a preacher. So I grew up in the church. I really had a huge direct connection with God. He was my everything. He was the center and the source of my identity, of who I was as I was growing up. I mean, if you saw Angel coming, you felt like, okay, the choir was right behind her and she was leading the song. I mean, I eat and breathe and I slept with my spiritual connection that I had with God. I was all in. I was completely all in the whole shebang. I was that religious child. Everything that came out of my mouth was God this and God that. And guess what? It's still kind of like that. I'll never completely lose who I am, but I did lose the BS. I lost the belief systems. And I found Jesus for myself. But somehow I got lost in the sauce because I didn't know where to go. I wasn't running to the church anymore. I'm not running to the church anymore. So what do you do with that? So 2019, this was all that talk about millennials leaving the church and never to return because maybe it was traumatizing for them. Maybe it was traumatizing to me but I didn't want to call it that. But I know that I was going through a spiritual trauma because I know the things that I believed in somehow got altered because life freaking happened. It happened to me, y'all. I mean, I know you're not supposed to connect the church with people, but what do you do when you've been heartbroken in every area of your life when it pertains to people? Your work life, your family life. I mean, nobody's family is perfect. So, don't get all excited because I say one little thing about family. Everybody has their shit. So just calm down. I love my family. I thank God for the family that I have because I promise you, I would not be who I am today without the most wonderful parents on the planet. Were they perfect? Hell no. Are you perfect? Then stop. This show is not about judgment. This show is to help you reach your full potential, to pull out your bold purpose, to fulfill your bold purpose. We all have a seed that we're born with on the inside of us. So what are you going to do with it? God wants you to cultivate it. He wants you to nurture it. He wants you to do your thing with it. But listen to me. We are living in a time where life is getting a little bit more serious. And we need to take life a little bit more serious. But listen, y'all, life sucked for me sometimes. I mean, I watched my family go through so much sickness, but guess what? I praise God for it because it healed my family. So I know that God is a healer. Oh, I seen it with my own eyes. Oh, yes, I did. So you can't tell me there is no God. I'm not confused. I didn't lose God. I didn't lose Jesus Christ as my Savior, but I lost my religion. But what do you do with that when you're stuck in a place where you don't know if you want to be at home and continue your practice with God? Or do you want to go out there with the world full of people that you really can't trust anymore because you've been hurt? So they call it RTS, religious trauma syndrome. They gave it a name. Wow. It's when you've kind of gone through the ringer, basically, in a nutshell. You've gone through everything that you could think of. The enemy has attacked you from every corner that you can see coming. Every time you put one brick up, he knocks 10 down. You put 20 up, he knocks it all down. Listen, I was trapped in 2 worlds, heaven and hell. And guess what? Both worlds wanted me. Both worlds. I was good for both. I was the life of the party. I hung from chandeliers. That's my favorite thing to say. I had a good time in life. And guess what? I'm still having a good time. I just may not be doing the club life no more. But who's to say if I go to another country, I might turn up. But I'm just saying, I don't put any stipulations on my life because I feel that God gave me a life to live the most. And I've always gone by that motto. And guess what? I dove in head first. You talk about YOLO. I created that name, YOLO. You only live once. But it got me in trouble sometimes. I made mistakes that I'm not proud of. I didn't understand why. Maybe I was missing love. Why do we give our bodies away to people that don't even deserve us? Why do we do the things that we do in the name of love, for comfort, for convenience, to fill a void that you might have because you are experiencing loneliness or you're vulnerable or I was naive, y'all. That was my number one problem. I was one of those children that I was sheltered. I didn't really want for nothing. Honestly, my family was really well off. Like my dad took care of us very well. We weren't the richest, but you couldn't tell me no different. I didn't miss not one meal. And if we did, I couldn't tell. Every time I asked for something, and I kept good grades. I was always in school doing good. I had a little attitude problem that my daddy used to get on to me about, mama and daddy. But, my daddy was full of wisdom. He was wise. My mom, she was such a prophetic woman. She had the gift of prophecy. She amazed me with her beauty and elegance as she spoke in the church. I always ask her, I said, man, Mom, you could have been famous, man. She had so much Holy Ghost behind her. It didn't make no sense. My dad was a great teacher. And oh boy, talking about my brother. Now that's my ace boon coon. That's my best friend. Powerful man of God. So much fire. I just see so much potential in him. And I do everything I can to make the world see him. But, we're working on that. Because he is like the mini T.D. Jakes, a hidden treasure that the world is waiting on to hear. I root for my family because they rooted for me. They showed me support. They did what they could do. But y'all, life happened after I left the nest. I don't think I was really prepared for life. I was kind of immature, but mature. Spiritually, I was mature. But as far as world sense and getting out there in the world, I wasn't ready for it. I was not ready for it. I messed up in 2019. I asked God for the spirit of discernment because I had ran into so many people in my past that I trusted. Because you got to understand, I was so naive. I would look at people with God's own eyes. I would look at people, and I'm going to tell you, that's the most dangerous thing that you could ever do in life. I trusted people with everything I had in me because all I could see was that smile, good looking face, or, what's coming out of your mouth. But I wasn't really paying attention to the red flags. Oh, I ignored all of them. I don't know. I just love people. I just love people. I feel like that's the way Jesus was. He hung around the crooks too. He hung around the sinners. He hung around the drunks. He hung around everybody. He was very well-rounded. And I guess, I was like, shoot, Jesus is dope. I can be dope too. Why not? I had this in my mind as a little girl. This is how I operate. I said, well, you know what? Jesus hung out with everybody. I can hang out with everybody too. Everybody needs connection. Everybody needs a friend. I don't care what people have done in their lives. Everybody needs somebody. And I just felt like because my name was Angel, I had a double standard. Not only was I a preacher's kid, but okay, my sister, my sweet sister, Allison Martin, shout out to her. She gave me my name. She named me. But it was a double standard. I've always been proud of my name, even my maiden name. A lot of people would call me, whether it was Angel, but a lot of people would call me Miss Howard for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe I was just acting grown. I don't know. Handling business, so they call me Miss Howard. But at the same time, it was a double standard. I had to live up to being a preacher's kid. And guess what? I had to live up to my name. And I took that pretty darn serious. I sure did. It wasn't always easy to live up to my name because sometimes I didn't feel like being an angel. Sometimes I would cuss your ass out. I'm talking about I had a mouth, y'all, that would cut you and I didn't have to touch you because I had a powerful tongue. I was a spitfire, man. Why do you think I named the show Fire to Inspire? Hello, Angels Fiery. That girl is, okay, rub her the wrong way. Sweet girl Angel is, but do not test her. She's a very passionate person. I'm very passionate. Everything that I do, I really kind of go over and beyond expectation of what's due. That's kind of why I kind of experience burnouts, because I really put my all in everything that I do. And man, does it make me tired. You don't know the efforts that I put in the stuff that I do when I was marketing and I was doing all these things and putting myself out there, hosting events and stuff like that. Listen, I was having a ball, but it took a lot of energy to generate fire in my life. I've always had this gift for people to connect with them. It didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter how old you were. I don't know. I don't know. God just gave me this gift of gab, this gift of connection that I honestly thank God for, because it's the most beautiful thing. You don't have to speak somebody's language to find out their love language, is what I'm trying to say. Right now, we're in a generation where people are hurting. I am a millennial that left the church. I turned my back on it because I went through a lot. I wouldn't say that I was church hurt, because I didn't end on a bad note in my church. I just I got away and started getting busy, and the church that I love was kind of far away, but I kind of ran into a little bump here and there. Nothing against my pastors. It's just that I was so fed up with people. You call yourself a Christian. And I'm not talking about pastors. This is just personal encounters that I've had all my life, that I've seen in front of me all my life. It may not have happened to me, but being a preacher's daughter, you get the wrath from the riffraff that your parents go through. When they experience heartbreak, you experience heartbreak too through the church. I think my first heartbreak is when the church that I love the most, and I'm talking about this church had so much Holy Ghost fire, y'all. I'm talking about, we used to call my church the emergency room. You come through that thing, and I'm telling you, you'll never be the same again. Ponytails was falling off. I was over the dance ministry. We would shout, like, I'm telling you, I miss that spirit of freedom, that spirit of flow that we had. Because one thing about my parents, they didn't believe in tradition. And so therefore, here I am. They made a monster, because I lost my traditions. I said, I don't have to do it this way. When I started Fire to Inspire, I was on fire. I didn't understand what a podcast was. I mean, I'm telling you, the whole thing just kind of fell in my lap through the radio show, through the radio station that I was working at. The third week that I was there. And you got to understand that this thing just happened inorganically. It just happened. I was glad it happened, but man, was it scary, because now I have chose to do something that may or may not be good for people. I wanted to inspire the people through my own perspectives on how you can look at this way and kind of look out and get out that box, reach beyond the walls type thing, reach beyond the walls ministry. Like, how can you tap into other people and connect with other people and bring them in and draw them into your spirit, into your light? Jesus was a light. I believe he was a great light worker. That's what I believe, because this man was phenomenal with people. He could mix and mingle with anybody. He didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the same way. I see no wrong. And that's what messed me up. I got abused. I got hurt. People were taking advantage of me, manipulating me. So this is outside my family. I know y'all over here talking about, oh, I grew up in a religion. No, I didn't mind that. I enjoyed growing up in the church. I love my history. I love God with all my heart. So every little part of church that I went through, man, I loved it. But when I experienced that split with the church, that one time, and thank God we're all, cordial and we're speaking now. But at the same time, man, that was my first heartbreak. Because I was close to the families that left. Church was my everything. Church was everything to me. To go and I experienced in life, even through middle school, high school, I experienced life, a heartbreak with one of my first love and all this other stuff. And to make a long story short, it was my escape. So when the church split, I split. I started to look at people a different way. I mean, I was young. I was very imaginative. You got to really kind of follow me here. I had this mindset that everything was perfect because I wanted to be perfect. You got to understand, nobody didn't tell me to be perfect. I was the youngest out of 5. And I seen a lot of things in my family. And I just wanted to be my best, I guess. I wanted to make my parents proud. I wanted to make my family proud. I wanted to do something that would bless all of us at the same time. That's how my heart was. When I do things, I don't do it for myself. People always say, Angel, you're a people pleaser. You need to stop that. You need to stop that, man. People that get close to me, they figure it out. And they probably even take advantage of it. Or they say, they see me doing it and they're like, no, don't do that. You're worth more than that. I grew up real sensitive. Again, I was a very empathetic person. I saw things a little deeper in emotions than others. At times I thought that was a problem, but you know what? Now I actually welcome it because in this season, Jesus wants us to be a little bit more sensitive in this season because we're a little fragile. All of us have gone through the ringer. All of us have been beat down by society in some way, form, or fashion. All of us have walked down the aisle with the devil sometimes. Some of us, okay? That's just a figure of speech. In this season, God is saying right now that his people are hurting, they're suffering, they're going through so much stress, trauma, anxiety. They can't hold it in any longer. They're about to implode or explode. And guess what? I went through the same thing. I went through a spiritual awakening. And some people call that in the world, their third eye has opened. You have seen things that's beyond the spiritual realm. And your consciousness is a little bit more clear now. And it has freaked you out. That's what happened to me. God woke me up. And I saw so much that I don't know if I could handle it. Even the things that happen now with what's going down with the world in 2020, right now. When I saw it come across Facebook, Instagram, I don't watch TV much. I only watch Greenleaf. I got to keep up with my Greenleaf and I got to keep up with Power. But listen, these people are hurting. And I was going through the spiritual awakening. I saw everything and I couldn't do anything about it. And I said, oh my God, what am I going to do with all this information? When God gave me all those visions and he said, this is going to happen. I need you to know this is going to happen. I was like, whoa. And he gave it to me fast. It was too hard for me sometimes. Life started to keep happening to me. I kept attracting all these spirits in 2019 because I guess people thought, I was on. Oh, I'm got my own show going now. So I started to magnetize all these different type of demonic spirits is what I call them. I'm just going to call it what it is because this is who I am. And I didn't know what to do with all that, I come from Mississippi. Mississippi is the state of hospitality. Everybody is taking care of everybody. We don't really want to do nobody wrong. Nobody's perfect in Mississippi, but we really have a deeper conscience. We have a deeper conscience about family and friendship and workmanship than Atlanta does. So Atlanta, you don't know what you're going to get. No, no shade or nothing, but it's a lot of fake people out here. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know who you're going to meet. And so I'm in this world thinking that, oh, wow, I'm here to change the world. Oh, my God, world, here I come. Here I am being naive. My brother-in-law, he warned me. My mentor, he's still my coach. That's my coach. I love people that cuss you out and tell you about yourself so you can reach your full potential. You got to have people in your corner like that. Do not get offended when they tell you about yourself. If they see something in you that you can't see, appreciate them. Be grateful for those type of people that push you. My family has always been supportive of me. All of them. But, it's something special about those people that really get in your ass and tell you, you know what? And put that fire behind you and say, look now, you need to get on your shit because there's something in you. Sometimes you can be so humble and you can be so meek. You can't even identify who you are. So when I was awakened, I saw all this information. I went through a little bit more. I was attracting some demonic spirits. I went through a spiritual death. Da-da. I died spiritually. while I was going through my transition in life. God was crushing me. I was in my cocoon. I was being liquefied. But as I was being liquefied in a cocoon, you go from I already kind of talked about this, but if you haven't heard it, why not? Let's talk about it. The caterpillar, then the caterpillar goes into the cocoon. You're being liquefied before you become a butterfly. In that moment, in the cocoon, I was being crushed. The old me was being flushed away, being dissolved, being transitioned. I was being morphed into something greater that God saw for me. But it was my choice to grow and cultivate the seed I had in me. And so I just kind of gave up on all of it. I said, man, what's going on? I was so awakened to what's going on. The enemy, he came in on me. And this is why I'm here. This is not a story about me. This is a story about all of us. We're all family out here, y'all. Whether you believe it or not, if that's your sister, that's your brother. But anyway, the enemy came in on me because I was vulnerable. He knew that I had a voice. The same way I can cuss your ass out, I can use it for the good. And see, the enemy can see your potential before you can see it. He can see it clear as day. And my pastor, Pastor Kim, she always said, the enemy does not rob empty vaults. If you got gold in you, if you got some diamonds in you, if you're worth platinum, oh, he's coming. He's coming with a vengeance. And I'm going to tell you, y'all, I had this imaginary thing. Like I was like thinking that I was exempt from all the wows of the world because I just felt like I created my own way. I created my own day. I created my own life. And what I thought is what it would be. And guess what? It's kind of worked for me. Being in that imaginary world that I was in, again, I was very mature spiritually because, I was getting fed all this good stuff every day, day in and day out, church hopping. I stayed in church, so I was real mature in my spirituality. But then in my life, I was still a little girl in my head. I don't think the way you think. You don't think the way I think. We're different. I went through so much. I became an adult and it scared the crap out of me. I realized that I was adult in 2019. Like, damn, I'm an adult. Like, I know y'all laughing because the people that know me and they're listening to this, they're like, yep, there it is. Because listen to me. I was trapped in my own head that thinking that everybody was so good. But bad news, no, that's not true. You got to learn how to fight the enemy. You just can't walk around here and thinking you can do all this by yourself. I let it go. Just like the millennials that left the church, I turned my back on the church and I was not going to return. And y'all, I'm still there. Pray for me. I'm sorry, but pray for me. It's just that I'm protecting my spirit right now. I'm protecting my energy, the little bit that I do have, because I don't want anyone else to get close to me. I don't want anybody else to get close to me to hurt me. So I would like to keep it the way we are right now. I just want us to stay where we are right now. I want us to be Gucci. I want us to be good. I want us to be okay. I don't want a reason to regret losing you. Whether you're a friend, whether you're family, whether you're co-workers. So I just said, I'll just go into protective mode. I'll just keep myself away from people for a while. That is a side effect of losing your religion. It's a side effect that you have to go through. So you're going through an isolation, a little bit of waywardness. You kind of lose your self-identity because if you grow up in the church, that's your identity. That's who you are. Especially if you're a PK. And if you're a PK, please write me. Tell me your stories. Tell me you relate to this. Man, it's not easy to push through some of these things that we experience in life. Life is hard. I was talking to my mama the other day. She said, life is hard. Sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes it just gets me angry that why do we live in a world where we have to suffer? Yeah, I know the story about Eve, but damn, Eve, why did you do this to us? Man, I just can't imagine what some people are going through. So guess what? Why are you here? Why do we need to have this conversation today? What's the whole point of having this conversation today? I didn't want to celebrate anything this year because I felt like, I just wasn't in the mood to be around people. I'm in a funk right now. I've been heartbroken in every corner. But that's not reality. When I went through that spiritual death, I woke up one morning. I was trying to go to church because I hadn't been to church in a minute. So this is 2019 now. I was waking up and God, kind of stopped me in the middle of my tracks. And he said, Angel, you're being selfish. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? Me? He said, yes, you. And I said, why would you say that? We know your heart. But he said, you're being selfish because I put all these hidden treasures on the inside of you. My brother preached a sermon, and man, he was talking about how Christians go through life with hidden treasures and they never do anything with it because of fear. And he said, because you're being selfish, you're holding all of that talent, all those seeds. And sometimes he put more than one seed in you. I mean, I can sing, I can act, I can dance. I could do whatever if I put my mind to it, because I really believe that Jesus Christ lived inside of me. So therefore, I'm great. I can do it all. I always felt that way. I remember those days. As a child, I felt resilient, but I was letting fear suffocate me. I was letting fear sabotage my future. I was letting fear wrap me all around where I couldn't even move. I was in a coma, y'all. And some of you, the enemy is coming after you because you have hidden treasures on the inside of you. You are great. You are full of potential. He can use you. You have the gift of prophecy. Use it, but use it for the right good. Some of you have the most powerful thing. You can manifest anything. Some of you ain't doing it in the right way. Switch it up. God needs you on his team right now. It's a lot of people out here hurting and suffering and they're going through. Listen, let's put us all in there. We're going through it. All of us going through it. Come on. Every day ain't a happy day. Every day ain't a sunny day. So what are you going to do when it rains and when it storms? How do you fight the enemy? People that go through visions and have these prophetic gifts and all of this stuff like that, healing the sick with their hands. We need to get back to the basics of love. We need to start loving on our people again. We need to start teaching about love. We need to start teaching about what's wrong and what's right in this world, because the world is running rampant. We're like loose children at a carnival and you can't find them. You're looking for all your children. He's looking for his children. Like, what happened? Where are y'all at? Y'all scattering. I can't keep up with y'all. The enemy is just constantly trying to come in. But see, he's been a little bit more clever this time. He's not coming in like he used to. No, honey. The enemy wants your mind. He's trying to steal that mentality. Okay, we talked about mental health all last year. But this year, we ain't going to just dwell on, I got issues, honey. I'm going through anxiety. I even said it. I said, my anxiety is high right now. Listen, whatever comes out of your mouth there's power in your mouth. You want to talk about generational curses? I don't want to ever hear the word curse. Release that curse out of your family. Release that curse out of your mouth. Release it out of your head, because you are not cursed. You are blessed beyond measures. Y'all, it's time. It is time. Martin Luther King Jr., he was a dreamer too. That man had a vicious dream to change the world, to do things that you couldn't even do because you don't have the guts enough to do what he did. But God used him in a mighty way. And I love when he said there's power in unity and power in numbers. What's your number? Whose team are you on? Because there is a team that you need to fight for right now. Because everything that you doubted in the Bible, because guess what? I was there. I doubted the Bible too. Everything that you thought wasn't real, place it in your heart. Accept God in your life. But how do you accept Jesus Christ as your Savior? I used to really have a problem with this. This was the biggest loophole I had in the whole Christian entity. In my head, I said, now how in the world can you tell me that Jesus is the only way that we can get to heaven? If there's a heaven. Let's talk about that. You get what I'm saying? So these are the type of subjects that I want to talk about in this diary, the things that you may thought about, and now it's time to tap into it, because I want you guys to get a full understanding of what the word is all about. It's time to understand the book of Revelations, because it's happening right now. I was fascinated as a child growing up. I was always curious, asking my parents this and that about heaven and hell, and mostly about the book of Revelation. I was fascinated by it. I used to read it all the time. That was the only part of the Bible that I was drawn to. And so when God gave me this right here, he said, listen, you got to talk about losing your religion because we got to win people back. He's coming like a thief in the night. And where will you be? I'm not trying to scare y'all. I really am not that type of person that's kind of preachy like that. I'm really not. I'm cool. I'm down to earth. I'm not, leading with God. I'm not, what I'm saying? Even though that's in me. If you close to me, we get there, we talk about it, let's do it. But I'm not the type of person that's going to walk around with a wooden cross around my neck. My mama used to say, Jesus, no, look, he died, but that's the past. Jesus died. That's the past, y'all. Now he lives. And where is he? Why can't you find him? Because you haven't opened the door for him. He's knocking. Oh, he's a knocking. He's never going to force himself in because God can only touch purity. He can only touch light. So when you give him the light, he comes in. He dwells within you. God is within. The kingdom resides in you. That's how you need to start looking at life so you can go ahead and manifest it. How do you confess Jesus Christ as your Savior? This really boggled me. I said, how in the world are you telling me Jesus is the only way I can get into heaven? Let's get back to that. I asked this question so many times. I said, this is ridiculous. Some people ain't even born a Christian. Some people born a Muslim. Some people born this. Are you telling me that this is what it's about? Doesn't seem right to me. Just so many questions. But listen, Jesus showed up for me in 2019 like no other. He had to because I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't retaining his information because it was bouncing off me. Did I believe in his source? Did I believe in his power source? Absolutely. But I just couldn't believe that one passage in the Bible about entering to the kingdom. So God gave it to me. I fasted. All the questions that I had about my religion and my tradition and the holy word, the Bible. You can't mess with the Bible. People want to talk about the birth of the nation. When they were talking about the slaves, they used the Christianity to kind of keep slaves controlled, to keep them bound. I teach in my manifestation classes about the hidden teachings of Jesus Christ in the book of Thomas. They took it out on how to manifest. Now, oftentimes we ask, the Bible says you ask and you shall receive. But there's something that they took out of that. They took it out. They didn't want you to see it because they wanted you to be controlled by them, society. But listen, everybody has a direct connection with God. The way he speaks to you may be in numbers. The way he speaks to you may be in vision. Maybe he speaks to you in dreams. Maybe he speaks to you in clear sight. But he spoke to me and he said, the way you confess me is to be like me. It's time to get back to that WWJD. What would Jesus do? In everything that you do, how would you handle that situation? You need to ask the question, what would Jesus do? How would he do this? How can I help my fellow mate? How can I reach out to the people that are hurting? What can I do to let people know there's still hope out there? People are walking around like zombies, waiting for their death. They don't want to kill themselves. They really don't have the urge to kill themselves, but they're just lost. They are zombies. They're in a coma of disbelief. They don't even trust people. People hurt them first. So the church was quick to say, oh, well, y'all ain't supposed to come here for people. Well, hell, what am I coming for then? Let's talk about it. I come in there, I want to connect with my family. And you telling me I'm supposed to just take that bullshit? I'm supposed to just take how you treat me at church? You speaking in tongues? Oh, you the first one to get up to pray? I can't stand it. And I ain't talking about my family, y'all. This is outside the family. This is a different type of story. I'm talking about how people are in the church treating one another and you're running everybody off. God is tired of that. He's losing right now. So many people killed themselves last year. What are we going to do about it collectively? What are we going to do to bring it all back? That's why we're here. So I'm going to invite some special guests on and we're going to dig in a little deeper. It may be a little bit something you don't want to talk about. It may be a little bit too taboo for you, but that's what Fire to Inspire is all about. I will never lead you away from God. I would never lead you away from the cross. I would never lead you from your own religion, but I do want you to have a different perspective on how you need to treat people. Love is the answer. It's time to stop questioning, and it's time to get back to work. It's time to stop being aloof, and it's time to get back to work. Because if I feel down, and I'm not the type person I'm a bubbly person, guy. I don't get emotional like that. I love life. I stay on a highway. That's not me. That's not me. So for me to get depressed, the enemy is real, just like God is too. So you got to learn how to fight him. My mama told me just recently, get back in your word. I got stunned from the word years ago. In my first marriage, when I was in the word and God just started revealing to me, I started seeing so many visions. I could see anything coming. I could smell you a mile away. I was that prophetic, but it scared the bejesus out of me. I'm not going to lie. And I wasn't able to pick up the Bible anymore because of all the things that God was revealing to me. It became a very powerful thing, and I couldn't really tell the difference between demonic spirits or if this is God. So I looked at the Bible like it was kind of dangerous. Like, we're not opening up that book of demons. That's what I used to look at it, y'all. That's the truth. I'm giving you my truths. I looked at that thing like, we're not opening up that Pandora's box. Leave that alone. I don't have to read the word to know how to treat my people. And that's another thing. You carry around this cross. You carry around this Bible in your hand, but you treating people any kind of way. You doing them any kind of way. You're not leading with your heart. A lot of us are going to go to hell if we don't get it together. A lot of us are not going to see it. Just because you done been in church for 25, 35, 65 years ain't your ticket. That ain't your VIP ticket. Jesus said, when you confess me, the Bible is full of parables and full of metaphors and all of these great stories. But you got to look a little deeper. When he says confess me, confession means what? I'm building a relationship with you. I confess my love to you. I profess my love to you. When I confess something to you, I'm giving you my all. It's not about saying you sold out for Jesus. It's not about that. If I interview Jesus today, Jesus will be like, look, just don't focus so much on the man. Okay? I know that, I don't want you to get mad. Please don't get mad. Just follow me. I'm almost there. I don't want you to focus so much on the man because Jesus has died and gone, just like Martin Luther King has died and gone. But what are you going to do to keep the legacy going of love, the legacy of love? Reach beyond the walls. You should be going to church every Sunday and coming out hellish every time you come out. You going to the altar, you crying, you acting a fool, and then the next day you caught up at the grocery store cussing people out. People are hurting. How you know the person at the cashier register didn't have a hard day that day? And they got an attitude with you. What are you going to do? What would Jesus do in that moment? Sometimes a smile is just enough. Sometimes complimenting people is just enough. Sometimes holding somebody's hand is just enough. Sometimes just saying, you know what? I pray that you have a better day. And walk away. Walk away. Don't be sarcastic. Don't be real. People are going through. You don't know that woman at the register that got an attitude with you, throwing your groceries in the bag. Instead of you giving them hell back, say, you know what? You don't know that woman could have got abused. And she covered up all her scars in the clothes that she wear, the makeup she got on her face. Oh, I'm speaking about myself now. When you get abused and you got to hide that shit. I'm not excusing my language in this season right now because God picked me out for a reason. I'm not a minister, but I am a messenger. That's the definition of an angel. Look it up. I take my name seriously now. I know that God has picked us out, some of us out to do his work. And if you are one of those, if you're listening, it's time to do things a little different. It's time to bring back people back to life because people are walking around here. I had this one lady, one of my friends on Facebook. I called her in the middle of the night. I don't even have her number. I called her through Facebook. And she wrote on there saying she don't know she was having a good day. She don't know what happened. All of a sudden, something told her to run her car in a tree. She said, Angel, I was happy, but it just all of a sudden got on me so quick. She said, I don't know what that was. She wrote it on Facebook. I called her, and we talked. We began to pray together. Instead of you gossiping about somebody, they just want attention, reach out. Reach out. Find out what's going on. Because people, and when I say people, I mean us, family. All of us have gone through our darkness. 2019, I was in the dark. I was seeing a lot of light, but I was in the dark because I was in my cocoon. I was being isolated. I was being transformed. I was being transitioned. I was going through a metamorphosis that I don't think I was ready for. But thank God I'm here today. Thank God I know my purpose. Thank God I know what I'm doing now. Thank God I know why I went through everything I went through to be somebody else's testimony. Your story is God's glory. I'm getting emotional because finally I know who I am. I know whose I am because I didn't know that in 2019. I lost my religion. I lost faith and hope in people. And so when you lose faith and hope in people, what happens? You kind of turn your face on God too. No offense, God, but listen, I'm like, okay, we living in a world like this. I'm a good person. I really don't mean nobody harm. Am I perfect? No, but at the same time, if you don't rub me the wrong way, you ain't gonna get rubbed. But I'm working on that. Starting to change my character. I keep WWJD out. I keep it out. The only reason why they didn't let that go big and they didn't let the company that actually started that company read about WWJD, that was a big scandal. The people that created it didn't even get their own money off of it. It was like, it went viral. At the time, there was no social media, but it really went viral. And somebody else took their idea, made the money off of it. And guess what? They made it a public domain. Anybody could use it. Well, they didn't want people to own it because they didn't want people to start thinking like that. Like, oh, that's too much power. What's going on? We need to bring it back. Whoever is bold enough, if you're listening to this, I want you to donate something to this cause because I want to make t-shirts about bringing back Jesus in our houses, bringing back Jesus in our families, bringing back Jesus in our relationships, bringing back Jesus in our own hearts. I love you. I'm worried for you. I'm praying for you. And guess what? I'm rooting for you. Do the same for me. I feel like we're growing together. I'm not here to act like I know everything because, hello, I'm being inspired too from your story. I never really liked the spotlight, but I don't mind putting somebody else out there to make them feel good. But at the end of the day, let's talk about those things that are hard to talk about. How can we make this a therapy seat at Fire to Inspire? If you have a story, write me. Email me. I want to read through them. I want to see what you've been through. I want to get to know my audience. I want to connect with you this year. Follow me on I Am Angel Yasmin on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Twitter. Facebook is Angel Yasmin. It is also Fire to Inspire. Look for that. And it's Fire to Inspire on iHeartRadio and Spotify. So follow me on all of those media platforms. I want to get to know you this year. I want us to come together somehow and make a difference in people's lives. I want to know if you're bold enough to do it. I want to know, where are my audacious people, my bold people, my courageous people? Fear has got to leave the door. Fear is an illusion, y'all. I remember, this is my last story and I'm out. One night I had a dream and it was a microphone on the ground, but it was wrapped around with a snake. And God was kind of standing behind me, breathing down my neck. I never really saw him, but I knew that he was there. And he kept looking at me. I was looking down at this thing and he said, pick up the microphone, Angel. And I didn't. I looked at him and I said, God, now you got to know me. I have a huge phobia of snakes. And he told me that microphone with a black snake wrapped around. And I said, God, are you crazy? I really kind of have a strange relationship. I just kind of fuss at God. I just do that. And we cool like that. I was being stubborn. I was being hard-headed. Listen, as soon as I picked it up, after he asked me one last time with compassion, he said, trust me. He said the words, trust me, in my dream. I picked up the microphone and the snake disappeared. It wasn't real. It wasn't there. It was a distraction. I don't have to tell you the whole dream, but I knew what God meant for me at that moment. I knew that I was being choked and that I was being put in a coma and that I had been silenced through the enemy because he doesn't want this powerful mouth that could cuss people out. I didn't have to put my hands on you to fight you. My mouth fought my battles. I had a mouth, but I had a good heart too. And God can do something with that. You are never too imperfect for God. All you got to do is turn that weakness into a strength. Turn it around. 2020, let's get it. 2020, let's refocus on what really matters, because everything that you see, I don't know who wrote the Bible, I don't know who wrote the Torah, but whoever wrote those books know exactly what they're talking about, because we're seeing history. We're seeing it happening. Do not sit down and be blind to what you're seeing. When I had doubts in Jesus, I said, God, I don't want to miss out on you. I don't want to miss the mark. I don't want to be left behind. I don't want to be left down. I don't want to be in depression. I don't want to be anxiety. I don't want to suffer no more. I don't want to hurt no more. I don't. Take it away, God. I want you to show me. And as soon as I did that, he did. Jesus showed up for me. And I wasn't scared this time. I was relieved. The only way that you can experience Jesus is you got to invite him in. You got to have him on your team, y'all. There's no way that you're going to survive this enemy that's trying to come in through artificial intelligence, through social media, through the TV. All of the teenagers are on these pills. Every video I saw when I was at the cabin this weekend with my girls, listen, videos are up for the teenagers with these people on drugs, talking about, oh, we on drugs. It's a song like that. The enemy is coming in like a thief in the night too. Watch him. Stay covered. Get covered. All right, guys. I think we've covered it all. I think you get my story. I think you get my drift. I think you get my vision. Let's keep the dream alive. Let's keep the legacy of love alive and start loving on our people again. Start hugging on them. Start doing something about it. Coming together in a collective sport to make something happen outside the walls of the church. And also inside. We got to get back into the church. I got to get back. Y'all pray for me. I know my purpose now. But now I need to know where I belong. I believe we belong together. We need to walk with this together. We need to do this together. All right, guys. It's getting real hot up in here. Because I'm definitely fired up.
When they strike, we light up.